Yeah. Prof. Aminuddin gave me a chance to join in visiting professor program right now between Graduate School of University Putra Malaysia and Graduate School of Yogyakarta State University in Indonesia. Yogyakarta is near Central Java, about 1 hour from Jakarta. I'm sorry, I will share screen to use PowerPoint. From Mr. Aminuddin, from Prof. Aminuddin, we will discuss about research methodology in education. It is only a review. Maybe you all have studied about research methodology in education, so it's only a review. And my name is Heri Ratnawati. I am a lecturer in Educational Research and Evaluation, Graduate School of Yogyakarta State University. I am a full professor and I teach statistics and research and methodology, and also item response theory. Of course, if you want to know more about me, you can open Google, then visit Google Scholar and typing my name, Heri Ratnawati. There are many information about me. Inshallah, we have 4 meeting, online meeting, I mean, using Zoom. Inshallah, today we will discuss about educational research about research problem and how to formulate research problem. I hope it will review and refresh our knowledge about research and make us more easy to finish the task in thesis and publishing our research work. In the second topic, inshallah, in the next week, we will discuss about writing research paper and proposal, and then research methodology about what will write down in the part 3 of our thesis, and the last one we will discuss about publishing research work. And now we will start with education research. Maybe we ever had done, of course, when you all finish your undergraduate school before take master school. In this meeting, in this discussion today, we will discuss about first education research, and then research problem, and then the third one is formulating research problem. When we discuss about education research, let us start with a question. Why should we conduct educational research? Is there anyone will help me to answer why should we conduct educational research? Maybe some of you will try to start this discussion. Please.
Prof, I want to try.
Okay, Jipa.
I think it's to increase the body of knowledge in the field of education.
Okay, thank you so much. A good job. And then, is there anyone to try to answer why should we conduct educational research?
Prof, I'm trying. Okay, it's aimed to answer some question in a systematic way.
Pardon me, please. Louder, please. Hello, Miss Nur Haslina. Louder,
Yeah,
please.
okay. For me, its purpose is to answer some question in a systematic way.
Okay. To answer. I'm sorry. Very. I can hear your voice. In this city is heavy rain, so many sort of voice.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry. Prof,
thank you for 2 persons that have tried to answer why should we conduct educational research. Thank you so much. When we have conducting research, maybe we have many reasons. Sometimes we want to know about something. For example, how teachers conducting teaching and learning in pandemic period. Is there any difficulties for teachers conducting assessment in pandemic period? It is a curiosity. To answer the question and to fulfillment curiousness, we should do intellectual activity. And the second reason is technological development. Then this technological development influence education. In the past 20 years, the constructivism theory became a connectivism theory. The constructivism theory became a trend in educational implementation. And right now, there is a theory. Welcome, Parizun. Right now, there is a theory called connectivism theory that describes how students and their connections with others and media when in classroom. Using research, the new knowledge can be developed. And sometimes in the implementation of many theory in education, there are mistakes. For example, students' mistakes to solve physics problems or to solve mathematics problem. As researchers, as teachers, we can find out why they did mistakes and find out how to overcome them. So in the present time, there are no mistakes anymore will be done. And using research, we can find out the misconception too and determine why it's happened. Of course, then we make effort to avoid the misconceptions. And using research, we can develop a new learning model or media or something else to improve the teaching and learning quality in education. The next question is, what is educational research? From many books, from many references, we can define what is educational research. As we know, in the daily life or in education, we have many problems. And to solve the problem, we should use scientific methods. Educational research is considered as application scientific methods to solve problem. And in other way, based on expert, we can define research methodology as a systematic, formal, and intensive process of scientific methods to solve problem in education. About education research, Crawford has other definition. He said that research is a simple, a systematic, and refined technique of thinking, employing special tools, instrument, and procedure in order to obtain a more adequate solutions of a problem what would be possible under ordinary means. And from many definitions above, we can conclude that educational research is systematic, formal, and intensive process and refined technique of thinking, employing specialist tools, instruments, and procedures in order to obtain a more adequate solution of a problem in especially in educational context. And then about step in conducting research. Crawford describes steps in conducting research. The first one is define problem and formulating research problem. Welcome, Miss Young, Miss or Mr. Young. And then the second step of conducting research is developing instrument to collect data, and then collect data and pack. And then the third one is analyzing the data that we have get to get result. And then the last step consider to Crawford definition. The first step is decide a conclusion to solve a problem. Hello, Mr. Yip. We will continue about purpose of educational research. When we conduct educational research, there are many purposes. Of course, yeah, not only to fulfill requirement to become a master education from graduate school, yeah, but we should find solution for the present day problem based on past experience. Sometimes from past experience, we have Hello, Mr. Yet. Are you hear me?
Sorry. I accidentally mute it.
Pardon me, Miss. Hello. Hello, Miss Yip Hong Young.
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah. Is there any question?
No, sorry, doctor. some connection problem just now. So it's like lagging. So it's okay, already. I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. If any question, you can type on the chat. Inshallah, I will discuss after the presentation finish, right? Okay, let us continue about the next slide. We come back to purpose of educational research. The first one, we find solution for present day problem based on past experience. The past experience we can get from research result from other researcher or from references, or we can get from journal article that has been published. And then the second one, we can make a development of science of behavior. We know that one of research aim is development of science. So the second purpose is we can develop of science. And then the third purpose, we can develop new knowledge, achieving educational objectives. Of course, until right now about COVID-19, we can study something new about characteristic of virus, characteristic of this, how the virus spread, and so on. This is a new knowledge. And then the fourth purpose of educational research. When in educational research, we can use the result of educational research to help the class teacher in order to achieve the class aims, or the aims of teaching and learning. And the fifth one of purpose is to establish sound of educational theories with the help of philosophical, historical, economic, psychological, and sociological. And then we can also get a systematic solution too from educational research to educational problem. And then from the seventh, from the purpose of educational research is review existing knowledge. For example, is experiential learning still applicable right now in elementary school? And then we can also using educational research to describe situation or problem. For example, how students spend the day in pandemic periods. How about teaching and learning implementation during pandemic session? We can also describe the situation. And then the ninth one, we can construct some situation. For example, in the experimental research, we can try many treatment in the experimental research to construct a situation what we need. And educational research has many characteristics. The first one is develop new knowledge and data from primary source. And then we can develop a general principle of theory or law. And then we can also get a systematic, expert, and accurate investigation about the problems. We can eliminate feeling, emotion, prejudice, favor, and preference. And the 5, we can generalize even unpopular findings. And then the next characteristic is the education research requires interdisciplinary approach. For example, if we conduct teaching and learning using Zoom, like now that we conduct, we should have many things. Of course, information technology, we use a handphone or laptop and others. It needs many discipline, or we say interdisciplinary. And the 7th, the characteristic is it is not a purely mechanical approach. We use a social approach to solve problem in educational research.
You love me, thank you. I love you too. So sweet. Hey, Mimi, come here. Say again, I want to record you. Come here. Cepat lama.
Miss Yusnisa.
Mama. Come here. Tak nak lah kawan, tak nak datang sini. Cepat sini. Come here lah. Chat, I love you. Cepat.
Hello, Miss Yusnisa.
Ah. Kenapa tak cakap?
I'm sorry. Yeah. We continue about characteristic of educational research. The 9th one, in general problem, a problem that only face teachers.
Abang datang sini yang bagi gula, ada gula.
Researchers.
Mana nak?
This is a 9 characteristic of educational research. In educational research, there are many types of research. Today we have to research for students.
Okay. Nak candy or nak?
Sent to me students proposal, yeah. From the 2 proposal we have read, there are two survey research, right, about correlation. Inshallah we will discuss after the lecture. About the type of research, we have pure research, applied research, research and development, grounded theory, descriptive research, exploratory research, library, survey, historical research, phenomenology, experimental research, case study, and many more. Yeah, we will discuss one by one. In pure research, we should discover a new theory or refinement of existing theory. For example, if the pandemic period until right now, what is the suitable method for learning, yeah? And then the second characteristic of pure research is developing solution and enable to choose the best solution. And for applied research, in this type of research, we find solution for practical problem. In this case, we examine too the usefulness of theory in solving practical education problem. And the third one, in applied research, usually descriptive and sometimes exploratory. In this applied research, we via, as a researcher, measure and describe among variables and studies phenomenon. And for action research, sometimes conducted by teachers in the classroom. In this type of research, there are two major characteristics. The first one is action research emphasis on real problem solution and local applicability. Local setting, for example, in the classroom, not in universal circumstance. And then in action research is focused on immediately application, not on general application, not on theory development. The keyword of action research is local setting and emphasis real problem solution. And then characteristic of action research, the first one is situational. It means action research is depend on the problem in the small setting like classroom, and we can use reflective inquiry to solve the problem. And of course, we still use a scientific approach, and we can also make intervention, but the intervention is only a small scale, and then we can unified exercise to bridge the gap between theory and practice. Sometimes in the classroom there is a gap between the need and the reality. And using classroom action research, we try to meet the need using intervention. And this action research emphasizes knowledge, and the knowledge is only in local problem, not universal problem. And in developmental research, the developmental research focus on developmental issues. For example, how individuals change over time. For example, we ever conduct research about how students how the development of students of literacy proficiency in senior and in junior and senior high school in Yogyakarta. In developmental research, there are two kinds of developmental research. They are longitudinal research and cross-sectional research. There is a different kind of longitudinal and cross-sectional. In the longitudinal, observations are conducted long periods, for example, 3 years. But in cross-sectional, the observations are conducted one period time, but including many levels. For example, in the senior high school, in the one period or 1 year, we including the first level, second level, and the third level of junior high school. And the next one is research and development. In the research and development, the keyword is produce on refined product. And in research and development, a process used develop and validate educational product. And then we can develop teaching set, for example, books, media, teaching models, and in Indonesia we can make a worksheet, worksheet to be used in the class to make a quality of education in the class better. And then we can make a categorization of research based on the data. As we know, we can make categorize in qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method. In qualitative, the data are in phenomenon, in number as measurement result, or we know there are 4 kinds of measurement in when we use in qualitative research. They are nominal data, ordinal data, interval data, and ratio data. And then in qualitative research, all data are in phenomenon, and phenomenon almost in words based on many resource. For example, from people, from documentary, from photograph, and so on. And in mixed method, there are mixed, there are mix between quantitative and qualitative. In qualitative research, there are 5 types: narrative, case study, phenomenology, grounded theory, and ethnography. It's based on Creswell. In narrative, you can only tell about something, but in the case study, you can emphasize only a small thing that to be case in education. In many cases, or if we have many cases, we can use as phenomena. Case in one setting, case the same case in other setting, the same case too in other setting. We can use it as phenomenology. And then we can also use grounded theory based on pattern of phenomena. And then if we stay for a long time in the community or setting, we can use type ethnography. When we are conducting research, we should understand what is our problem to be solved in education context. We can't make a judgment. What is the type of our research? We should define our problem first and then formulating problem. And types of our research depends on our research problems. And then we will continue to discuss about research problem. Before we start a new slide about problem and how to formulate problem, is there any question?
Prof, I have a question.
Oh yeah.
How you said you have to be not emotionally attached to your research, right?
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what if the research topic is very closely related to you? let's say it's your occupation or something like that. How do you make sure you are not biased in terms of the research?
Okay, I'm sorry. There is Adhan Maghrib here.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah. We delay for a minute.
Prof. Prof. Dah tak dengar.
Prof, your mic is muted, Prof.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I repeat, yeah. When we are very close to a respondent, there are many things to do. The first one, we should make sure that we use scientific methods. In this scientific method, we should guarantee that we that we collecting data objectively. When we do or we collecting data objectively, we can make sure that if we use instrument, the instrument is in good validity and reliability. And when we collecting data using interview, first we can make a list what question that will be asked to respondent. And about the stay close, in this case, when we conduct qualitative research from respondents, stay close with a respondent is a positive thing. And in stay close to respondent, we can get many more qualitative data because the respondent very trust us about what she feel or he feel about their condition and so on. That is
Right,
the
thank you very much,
answer,
Prof.
Miss Jiva.
Thank
Okay,
you, Prof.
you are
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Yeah. Is there any question? Is there more question from you? Okay, it is okay if we start about problems and formulating problems. Okay, thank you so much. Let me share the PowerPoint. We will continue about research problem in education and how to formulate it. We will start with what is a research problem in education. In the real life, sometimes we need something, but we have limitation to meet our needs. In this case, we say we have problem. For example, right now I want to go to University Putra Malaysia and meet you all face to face, yeah. But in pandemic periods, as right now, I can go to other country. I didn't go any permission. I didn't go to Malaysia because I did not get any permission for my government cause COVID-19. For this case, go to University Putra Malaysia is the need, and the limitation is the reality. There is a gap between the need and real condition. This is the problem. And if we take one example in education context for Indonesia students, you know about literacy. literacy is important ability for students should be achieved to solve problem in the real life. In the reality, the Indonesian achievement in PISA international study was low. In that case, there is a gap between need and reality. It called education problem, especially in literacy education. If we have educational research problems, the problems are related with many questions. First, we should answer what was the issue or problem you want to study. For example, our problem is improving students' literacy proficiency. And then the second question is, what is the concern being addressed behind this study? For Indonesian case, literacy is important ability for students should be achieved to solve problems in the real life. In the reality, Indonesian achievement in PISA international study was low. So as educational researcher or teachers, we can make effort to improve students' literacy proficiency. The third question is, why do you want to undertake this study? We back to literacy case. Literacy is important proficiency to solve problem in daily life. The more literacy proficiency, the better students' quality of life, inshallah. It based on theory, yeah, based on OECD. And the fourth, why is this study important to the scholarly and community? From the literacy case, the researcher want to give information for educators and teachers which part of literacy should be improved and how to improve it. When we conduct research, we hope that our research result contribute to knowledge and practice. We can get a research problem for curiosity of something new. For example, how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It is, I think it is something new that we should find out. And sometimes there are phenomenon that it fills a void or controversy or extend existing research. We can write down them as problem. For example, based on international study, Chinese students did not like to study mathematics, but why their achievements are very high. Maybe Miss Yi can explain to us about it. Yeah, they did not like to study mathematics, but why their achievement in mathematics are very high. That is controversial, and we can find out the answer. And about other result of research. Other result of research is teachers have difficulties to develop higher order thinking problems to conduct assessment in the classroom. One of causation was they had not had teachers guidelines to conduct it. And example of higher order thinking skills problems. The next research can be done in developing model for teacher construct about higher order thinking skills problem for assessment in the classroom. And also you can replicate a study with new participants or a new site. For example, connectivism theory in education has been implemented successfully in United States. We can conduct the same research in Indonesia or in Malaysia or in both, Indonesia and Malaysia, to implement connectivism theory for education. And in the information technology era, like right now, we have many problems has not been studied or understudied. For example, online learning or online lecturing is effective or not in pandemic period. And the problem may be understudied by many researchers. We can use it as problem or of our research. We can research problem from a voice, to people not heard, silenced, or rejected in society. For example, we discuss about gender bias. We sought voice of women, and we can also make voice of students who live in archipelago, like in Indonesia and Malaysia, that we have many difficulties in online learning. And they have many challenges about internet connection, about laptop, about handphone, and so on. And sometimes we can get a research problem from literature reviews. In almost every article in journal, there are discussion or what should be done in the future. We can cross them, become to our research. And when we selecting a problem for our educational research, we have many criteria. The first one is about interest. We should be interested in the problem, of course, and then the problem should be important to be conducted as a research. And the second one is about the significance of a research. We can look based on theoretical value, practical value, about timelines, and about external review. And the third one, we should concise about manageability, about expertise, time, and resource. For example, about human resource and also about financial. And then we should make sure that the problem is free from personal bias. And then when we writing a statement from a research problem, we can get from gaps between reality and needs. We can make a justification for the problem based on the past research and practice. And we would understand too about shortcoming in past research and practice to writing the statement of research problem. And then we should get the importance and significance of the problem. And then when we write the problem statement in the educational research, the first one, we should write down the purpose statement of your study. And then we embedded this purpose statement key term that will help you to start your literature review. From that case, you can make a keyword. From this keyword, you can use this keyword to googling, to get many literature that support your problem or support your research to solve your problem. And the third one, this part of the literature review, search for core literature, and it should focus almost exclusively on empirical studies. And please look for studies similar that your problem statement in your country. Maybe many researchers have conduct about the problem, and you can grasp the support, or you can grasp the controversy of the research result. And then you can look for studies too, something similar to your problem statement, but not in other country. For example, in Philippines, Thailand, United States, on Europe countries. And then about literature review, you can use encyclopedia of educational research. From encyclopedia, we can grasp many keyword, keyword about what is the problem of our research. And then the second, we can use international handbooks of educational research to understand what is our problem. We can use also thesis or dissertation, abstract or full result research, and we can find them not only in library but also in internet. From in this pandemic period, of course, we can only get in the internet. And then we can use also many database in internet, For example, we can use ERIC, we can use Aucinet, we can use others, And we can also get many references from current index to journal in education and resource in education located in ERIC. And the sixth, I'm sorry, this is sixth, we can use online journals. For example, national journal in Indonesia, we can use journal nasional for students. We can use also international journal, both indexes by Scopus or Web of Science, or we also index it by Thomson. We can get also indexed by Copernicus and so on. And if we can go to library, we can get offline journal or printed journal. And the fastest way to find referency, we can use a search engine like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and etc. After we get literature, we sort organizing the literature. The first one, we should focus on the research problem, and we make a research purpose statement. From my experience, sometimes I make a keyword first, yeah, to focus my research problem. After we get keywords, we can read all references that we grab from important thing, and then we can make a categorize in file. And then from this file, we can construct a literature map, or different from, but a prerequisite to a conceptual framework. Sometimes we make diagram, yeah, to construct a literature map about the important thing that we get from all references. And from when we write down the research question, the research question is a foundation of the research process. Research process is based on research question, because it all begins with a question. There are many types of research question. The important research question, there are three categories. The first one is descriptive questions, and then the second one is relationship question, and the third one is difference question. This general classification scheme helps not only with the design of the study, but also in choosing the type of data analysis procedure. From the research question that we formulated, it's a very important thing. We discussed about the first descriptive question. The aims of descriptive question is seek to describe phenomena or characteristic of a particular group of subject that being studied. The descriptive question is answers the question what is. In this question, we asking question of the research participants, and then testing and measuring their performance. And when we make a descriptive question, we can use type of our research is survey research. For example, what are the challenges of teachers in conducting math teaching and assessment in pandemic period? This is the question is what, and from what we hope a descriptive answer, and this is the keyword of descriptive question. And the second one is a difference question. Using different question, we seek to make comparisons between or within groups of interest. Sometimes we use this difference question associated with experimental research. For example, is there any difference between the control group and the experimental group? From the different question, we make a comparison of one group to another on the basis of existing characteristic. Other example is there a difference proficiency between students from rural area and from suburb area? And the third one is about relationship question. Today, I have read 2 papers, yeah. The paper is about, let me check it. From Mr. Prof. Aminuddin, sent me 2 proposal from Nurhalisa, yeah. The determinant factors that influence promotion among women firefighter in Malaysia. From the research problem, we can categorize this formulate in relationship question. Nur Hafizah binti Muhammad Lukman asks about relationship of many variables, yeah, and also Syadatul Amira, yeah, Miss Syadatul Amira write down the proposal about a relationship between awareness, belief, and knowledge on executive function with emotional intelligence among perpaduan preschool teachers in Selangor. Syadatul Amira use a relationship question too. In this relationship question, establish cause and effect between variables, yeah. That's focus or concise relationship between variables that become focus in research. For example, in this case, is there any association between self-esteem and problem-solving ability in economic education? From this question, we can use a type of data analysis. For example, we can use correlation, regression, and path analysis. The next steps is about problem distillation. In the problem distillation, or we try to pure our problem. In this process, we refining the question or idea into a problem and making it sufficiently very specific so that it is amenable to an investigation. And in this process should lead to the development of a state of the problem that is clear, concise, and definitive. And when we make a statement of the problem, it is a very specific statement which clearly identifies the problem being studied and will usually identify the key variables as well as give some information about the scope of the study. When we make a statement of the problem, maybe in either question, we can make either question or a declarative form, yeah. We can make a two form, question or declarative. And then the third one, we can include inherent sub-problems if appropriate. And the formulation of problem statements take place after an initial review of related literature in the distillation process. In the problem statements, we can use these words. For example, the problem is the problem of the study was to blah blah blah. The study was concerned with blah blah blah. The study is designed to blah blah blah. The purpose of this investigation is to blah blah blah, and so on. This is an example of problem statements. The problem was to investigate the effect of technology on students' literacy. And the second example, the study was designed to determine the relationship between self-efficacy, self-regulated learning, and problem-solving ability of senior high school students. The third example, the present study was designed to identify those characteristics which differentiate between students who join in online learning and those that who do not join conventional learning. And the fourth, the problem of the study was to challenge of teachers conducting teaching and learning in pandemic period. From problem in education, we can formulate problem and then after we formulate research, we can identify the type of research based on the research question. And from the type of research, we can identify or determine the methodology of the research. For example, from research question, we can determine the type of data. From the type of data, we can emphasize the type of data analyzed and so on. And also we can concise the instrument that we use in the research. Yeah. This is a summary of part 2 about problems, formulate problem, and type of research. And it is very important for us to pay attention for research problems and how to formulate it, because it will determine the part of our research and solve the problem as a research result. We make a PowerPoint from many sources, yeah, from many books and many articles, PowerPoint and lecture from internet. Thank you for all. Maybe any question you can type or you can ask to me. Any question? No? Yeah, okay. We have about 15 minutes to break, yeah. Maybe you do sembahyang, yeah. And then we about let me check WhatsApp from Mr. Prof. Aminuddin. It about hello, yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I have one
Okay.
question. It's about, can you give one example, or because I was about to adapt from someone's research. So can we do that? We it's not like we copy the research, but we adapt, but we have different, like they did the research in US, then we make the research in Malaysia. Can we do that, Doctor? Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. For example, we have mentioned before, yeah, Miss Nakiba. For example, right now there is a theory that's still in development process about cognitivism, how student interacting, how students and media, how students and technology interacting, and then the interaction between all can make students understands what the concept that should be understand from a material. This is still a developing theory in the US. If we use this, if we ever I'm sorry, if we ever read article journal about it, this research is successfully in United States, but the curiosity is that successfully too if we implement in Indonesia or in Malaysia. This is still curiosity. So we can use the theory and implement the connectivism theory into our class into our school, and then we can describe it is that the result is the same with in the US or difference with in the US. Like this, Miss Nakiba.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay, you are welcome. Is there any more question for me?
Prof, there is a question on the chat.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Miss Jiva. Yeah. Miss Jiva asked about, can we create our own problem and do research, or we need to find existing problem and enhance the finding. Of course, we can create our own problem. It's depend on what is your reality condition in your education context. Yeah, for example, what is your undergraduate student in mathematics or in what major, Miss Siva?
Actually, Prof, the question is not from me, it's from another fellow friend, it's from Farhana actually. I was
Oh
just
yeah.
highlighting to you, sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Miss Farhana, hello Miss Farhana. Hello Miss Farhana. Okay, Miss Farhana, maybe still in trouble with internet
Assalamualaikum,
connection.
Prof. Here, Farhana here.
Okay. Miss Farhana, when you were in undergraduate student, what is your major? Maybe I can focus on the problem with which you asked for me with your context.
Okay, basically I'm do some sort of in terms of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a few problem that I focus to in terms of leadership. But is there any way which is we try to adapt from any study and enhance the finding based on the problem that we need to solve?
Okay, yeah. The answer of your question is, of course, yes, yeah. We can create our own problems. For example, about leadership in your daily life or your institution or your school. Yeah, maybe you have any problems about leadership. You can make or you can formulate the problem based on the condition that you feel. For example, why a woman, for example, yeah, in our country, why women seem to be leader, for example. We can formulate why. Yeah, we can make description for our research about why the woman seem or don't want to be a leader in the institution. This is one example for your question. That's it, Miss Farhana.
Yes, I got it, Prof. Okay, for example, based on your example,
Mm-hmm.
we can
Oh, I'm sorry. I can hear you.
do we have to find terms of to get the findings of the question? Or sorry, Prof, the line is it's too bad here.
Okay. Please type. Please type. It's okay. Yeah. Please type in the chat.
It's okay, Prof. You answered my question already.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Welcome.
The
In
line
the
is
chat,
too bad.
there is no a new question. The last one is can we create our own? I'm sorry. Still on the way, maybe. Okay, Miss Farhana, my time is over, so I will try and I will try to answer your question after I get the question first. After this, yeah, and then we have about 15 minutes to break, yeah. Maybe some of you will do sembahyang, and then after this, after break, we have 2 presentation of research proposal, and Mr. Prof. Aminuddin will join with us. Yeah, okay. For all, thank you very much for all of your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Prof.
You are welcome, Miss Farhana. We still wait your
Thank you, Prof.
question. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome,
Thank you, Prof.
Miss Jit. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prof.
You are welcome, my Saro.
Thank you, Prof.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Prof. See you.
Yeah. See you, Miss Jiva. Yeah, thank you. I will use this time for pre-maghrib, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.